love you, bitch.
Oh my god.
I ain't gonna never stop loving you, bitch.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello, welcome. If you are returning, hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. It's about 9:45 on Friday night. I am coming at you looking like a freshly bathed poodle with this hair. And I'm eating quesadilla. And some chips. So that's just where we are tonight. Today's video is going to be an extension off of my last video. My initial plans for that one were to tack a Q&A on the end of it. But once I got to the part of filming my Q&A, I had been filming for like 45 minutes. So I was like, I'm just going to make this a different video. And so that's what I did. And so the Q&A is all about like weight loss surgery questions. I got quite a few, so I'm just gonna go ahead and jump into them. And obviously if you guys think of any more questions that you want me to answer, just leave them down below. More than likely I will answer you. So yeah, let's just get into the questions. Yep. Okay, so I asked the questions on both my YouTube community tab and on Instagram. I'm going to do YouTube first because I got the least amount of questions on there, and then I'll go to Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, a lot of fun things happen over there, so make sure you go do that. The link will be down below. The first question from Jay Carson is, could you address something on wanting to eat but not physically being able to and how you cope with that? So this is a good question to start off on because I think it really kind of highlights like the mental aspect of losing weight and the psychological aspect of losing weight. And this is why I say that I would recommend weight loss surgery to anybody who's ready to make that change, because it is a really, really big change. And so for me, adjusting in the beginning was really hard because I couldn't really eat, and most of the time I didn't really want to, but when I did want to, it was like, wow, I really want to eat. And so it was really hard to initially get used to that, but I find that I had the most troubles with it in like the beginning stages, like in liquid stage and in pureed stage. Like in pureed stage, I just wanted to chew something so bad, like so bad. And then once I got to soft foods phase, I feel like I was just kind of like all right with it. Like it didn't really bother me, and it still doesn't bother me because I'm just so used to the way that I eat now. And if something's like particularly delicious that I'm eating, like I just save it. Like I just save it for later and I eat it again. Mario's calling me. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Had to talk to the boyfriend. He's just getting off of work. We said hello. But yeah, I can't remember what I was talking about. I think I was talking about how like it's just normal to me now, the amount of food that I can eat, so it doesn't bother me as much. And also this question kind of helps bring up an important point too, is that most of the time when you are getting bariatric surgery, you have a psychological evaluation to make sure that you are mentally prepared for it. Oh my god. I think most of the time you have to do a psychological evaluation to make sure you're ready. Along with that, you usually have to do some sort of like weight loss program before you have surgery. And I feel like that it's hard for me to answer this question because both of those things, to like preparing for surgery, it really helps you like prepare for how different eating is going to be after. And yes, it's going to be an adjustment, but like it's really not as big of a deal as you think it would be, because like you just have a physical barrier and your body gets so used to it that you just don't even think about it anymore. Sarah Noel 321 asks, the whole healing process, was it painful? How long until you felt healed? What is eating like post-surgery? Well, I'm eating quesadilla. Am I only eating like a quarter of it? Yeah. But, eating's fine. I kind of talk about the eating process and all of that in my last video that I did, as well as my very first video, which is all about my VSG, like, process. So I'll link those two here or wherever, because I talk a lot about how eating is, like, directly after surgery in both of those. But as for, like, the healing process, like, I kind of touched on it in those two, but, it was painful. I wouldn't even say it was painful. It was just uncomfortable. Like, I was just uncomfortable for probably a solid, like, 2 weeks after, and a lot of that was just, like, I was feeling weak and tired because I was only on a clear liquid diet for 2 weeks, and I couldn't really get a lot of liquids in. I couldn't get a lot of protein in. A lot of it was due to gas pains. Immediately after I woke up from surgery, it was kind of determined that I had a reaction to the anesthesia. So that's where that discomfort came from. But I would say, like, feeling completely healed. I went back to school after 2 weeks. But I'd say feeling completely healed, it was probably, like, a month. It's hard to say because, like, my incisions healed pretty fast, like, physically. Yeah, I would say, like, 3 weeks to a month after surgery is when I finally felt, like, back to normal again. Pop Rock Sharks 111 asks, how do you feel after? I feel amazing. I tell people this all the time, that yes, there are certain things that you have to prepare for when it comes to weight loss surgery, but I can't recommend it enough if you are ready for that change. And if you are psychologically prepared for that change. I feel so good. Like, so good. Just about myself and just physically and mentally. We're still working on it, but I mean, I have mental stuff as it is, so obviously that did not go away with losing weight, but I feel great. And I think surgery is probably like the single best thing I have done for myself. So those are the questions that I got on YouTube, and I got quite a few on Instagram, so I'm just going to jump into those. Sarah Likes Things. I really like that, that username. Sarah Likes Things asks, I have lots of questions about loose skin and just how you deal with that after losing a lot. So I actually did not a whole video, but like a good portion of one of my past videos was on my loose skin. I will also link that above. But I have loose skin. I have a lot of loose skin, and I also have a lot of cellulite that I can't really get rid of without surgery, I don't think. I think that's how that works. But, so yeah, I have a lot of it. I don't particularly like it, but I'm learning to live with it for now, and I do want to get it removed. But that's not going to be for a little while down the line because of money, and because I also just, like, I have some more weight that I want to lose before I get that done. And so, yeah, I'm shooting for, like, next year, probably around this time, to get that done. But yeah, I want to have it removed. Loose skin is what it is. Like, I get a lot of questions about my loose skin, which is understandable because, like, it's a very weird thing. I guess I've kind of learned to deal with it and think of it like I'd rather have the loose skin than all of the harmful fat that I used to have, and that used to put me on the fast track of life at the age of 22. So yeah, you kind of have to weigh, no pun intended, but you kind of have to weigh the, like, pros and cons of each thing and realize that in the grand scheme of things, like, having loose skin as opposed to being super morbidly obese, like, it's kind of an easy choice. As much as I don't like my loose skin, I feel like I know I would much rather have my loose skin over my fat that I used to have. Audrey the Amazing asked me, like, a bunch of questions, and so I'm like, this girl, she wants to know stuff. So I am going to answer all of her questions. Audrey the Amazing, first question she asks is, do you remember what you ate during the first few months? Yes. It was a lot of pureed like chicken salad, like egg salad. I ate a lot of peanut butter, protein shakes. I ate a lot of Greek yogurt. I mean, in the first 2 weeks, I literally consumed nothing but sugar-free Gatorade and protein shakes. You kind of just eat what you can. You find things that work and you run with it. I kind of outlined that in my last video and in my other VSG video, so just go check those out for a more detailed description. But I do have a Pinterest board that is full of pureed recipes that I did make. And so I will leave that down below because those are hard to come by. She also asked, how was the pain? When did you go back to work or classes? So pain was really only for like the first few days afterwards because like incisions. That went away, and a lot of it was also exacerbated by the gas pains that I had from because it's laparoscopic, so they expand your abdomen with gas or with air, and so you just have a lot of residual gas pains after that. And once those went away, which was after like 4 or 5 days, I was okay. Like, the pain was like, nah, I don't know. I don't know. And like, sometimes my stomach will just like hurt and I don't know why, but it's usually after like I eat something that I'm not used to eating, or that maybe I shouldn't have eaten, or maybe I didn't chew enough. But that goes away after a few minutes. I went back to classes after 2 weeks. I originally planned on going back after a week because that's what I was told, but then I was like, hell no, after the first week, and I'm like, I'm taking another week off. So that's what I did. What was the anesthesia like? I don't remember. Sorry, I had to. I don't remember what anesthesia was like, but I know it made me very sick. I don't know if this is a thing that you can do just preemptively, but I do know that when you're going under anesthesia, there is, if you've had bad reactions to in the past, you can request like an anti-nausea patch. And I don't know if you can do that preemptively, like if you don't know if you get nauseous from anesthesia, but if you can, I would just recommend doing that. Just preemptive strike, just do that, because I was miserable, because I was not only feeling like shit because I just had surgery, but I was also feeling like death because I was super nauseous because of the anesthesia. So, when did you lose the bulk of your weight? When did you stall? So this is a very interesting question because I kind of went into weight loss thinking that it worked like that too. And so, but like the time frame in which I lost the bulk of my weight was probably, it was like a 1.5 year span, and it was like the middle of the last half, from September to the end of 2018, and then all through 2019 is when I lost the bulk of my weight. But stalling, I stalled a lot, and people stall a lot, and it's just because your body is like, bruh, what are you doing to me? What is going on? Why are parts of me disappearing? I need to slow down for a little bit. And just as long as you keep pushing through and keep doing the same things you have been doing to lose the weight, like up to that point, it's gonna be fine. I know it's annoying though. I've had some very long stalls, and it sucks. But for me, how I lost weight, like how it worked for my body personally, I would lose some weight, like I'd lose like 2 or 3 pounds or whatever in a week, and then I wouldn't lose anything for the next like 2 weeks, and then the following week I'd step on the scale and I would have dropped like 4 or 5 pounds. It's very weird. I don't know if that's how it works for everybody, but that's how it worked for me. And it's still how it works for me, honestly. And so it was kind of like a staircase, is the best way I can describe it. But yeah, so I stalled a lot. I think my first major stall after surgery was probably like 7 or 8 months out, I want to say. It was like a month. It sucked. But I got past it, and the first 2 pounds that I lost after that felt really damn good. So just focus on that. How long after surgery did you feel yourself again? That's kind of like the other question. I would say like a month, because up until then I was just fully getting used to everything. What's 3 things people should know about after surgery? Good question. Some foods are just going to make you sick and you're not going to know which ones they are until you try them. So don't be afraid to try foods. 2, chewing gum actually does make you gassy. I was chewing gum on like my second date with a person that I ended up dating for a while. And I was like so embarrassed because it made me so burpy. It was the first time I chewed gum after surgery. And I was like, ugh, ugh. And also, 3, order off the kids menu. Save a lot of money. Chances are you get healthier options on the kids menu as well. And it makes you a really cheap date. So yeah, but I also, my whole last video was kind of like what to expect after weight loss surgery. If that's not enough for you, go check out that video. How did your style change if it did? So I feel like, I've always very much had my own sense of style, but my options were very limited because I was like a size 3X, like a 2022 3X. Or they weren't limited, but what I wanted to wear was super fucking expensive. And so now I feel like my style really didn't change, but I can just dress it, you know? Like I have more options and I can actually dress how I want to dress because more or less I am in the straight sizes of things. And so, yeah, so I feel like my style is kind of what it's always been, but I can just dress how I want to, if that makes any sense at all. Quesadilla. I'm eating it with a fork because I am a heathen. Next question. If anything, what would you have done differently? I honestly don't think I would have done too much differently. One thing I wish I didn't do, but it didn't really affect me, like, in the long run, it was just annoying when I was doing it, was during period stage, like I said, I just really wanted to chew things. And so I got to the point where I was like, Megan, if it's chewed enough, it's pureed. And that wound up making me feel ill a lot. Even though, like, I did chew my food, like, to death before I actually swallowed it. But yeah, just don't do that. It makes you uncomfortable. Like, just don't do that. But other than that, I don't really think I would have done anything differently. Yeah, I took it very seriously. So I don't really regret how I did anything at all. Did people treat you differently? Who did you tell you had surgery? I mean, I definitely got treated differently after just losing weight in general. I told everybody I had surgery. I didn't give a fuck. That's one thing with weight loss surgery that you have to do before you actually do it, is you have to accept that there is a stigma around it and that people are going to think you're cheating. Some people, not everybody. But that people are going to think you're cheating your way out and that you're taking the easy way out and you're just going to gain all your weight back and blah, blah, blah. And you have to realize that that stigma exists and you have to just not care about it. Because you will get shit for it. From people on both ends of the spectrum, really. You'll get shit from fat people and you'll get shit from fit people. And it's just how it goes. But yeah, I told everybody I had surgery because I just didn't want anybody to be concerned about me dropping weight so quickly. And also, I just didn't think it was anything to hide, you know? I was proud of myself for making that decision and I was excited and I just wanted to talk to people about it. So yeah, and then I got to the point where I thought I was being annoying and this channel was born. Were you afraid of some of the complications? That's what's stopping me currently. Yes, I was afraid of some of the complications. But if you read up on the complications, they're pretty few and far between. And the ones that are in existence, like, very rarely happen. But for me, especially in hindsight as well, and I tell this to a lot of people too, the complications of weight loss surgery are so rare. And so, like I said, so few and far between. But the complications that come with morbid obesity are pretty much, like, the same across the board. Not at the time they affect you, but more or less the same things happen to morbidly obese people. And so the complications that come with obesity are so much greater to me than the complications that might come with weight loss surgery. That again, you just have to weigh out the pros and cons. And I eventually just got to the point where I was like, my health is already so bad that like I'm willing to take this risk, you know? And so I understand the concern about complications. Absolutely. That's a thing that you should consider with every surgery or any procedure you have. But in comparison to the complications that are bound to come with morbid obesity, the ones that probably won't happen with weight loss surgery are worth the risk, in my opinion. How did your relationship with food change? Infinitely. So my real relationship with food, like, mentally changed in the process leading up to surgery. And then after surgery, it was just carried out because I couldn't eat a lot of food. And for a long time, to me, food was just fuel. I ate what I had to get by, to meet my nutrition guidelines, that kind of stuff. But now, now that I'm like 2 years out, I still try and treat food as fuel as much as possible, but it's become a pleasurable thing for me again, but not to the point that it was. And also, it has really taught me portion control, surgery did, because I feel like now I eat small portions, but I think realistically they're how a normal human is supposed to eat. And yeah, that could be a hot take, I don't know, but I just, like, I'm okay with my portions, and, yeah. And I really like healthy, whole foods now. I mean, I'm eating a fucking quesadilla right now, but I had a salad for lunch, okay, so, yeah, so I really like healthy and whole foods, and I also just, like, food is still a comfort to me to a point, but it's not as bad as it was before. Yeah. So my relationship with food was completely flipped on its head. That's like the short answer. Would like to know more about it, or about before it, like questions the surgeon asked you. My program was weird because I'm from such a small area, so most of the time I was working with a PA, and I only met the surgeon. I didn't even meet my surgeon until the day of surgery, but I met with a surgeon like a month or two before surgery. And they don't really ask you a lot of questions because by that point, at least for me, I had done everything I needed to do to get approved for surgery. It was just a matter of like talking to him about it, making sure it was something I still wanted to do, that kind of thing. But by that point, I had gotten my endoscopy, I had my psych eval, I had lost the weight that they wanted me to lose, all that kind of stuff. So they don't really ask you like questions because you're already preparing and you're already prepared. Yeah. So the surgeon really didn't ask me any questions. That could be a thing for other programs, but for me it just wasn't. How's the hunger? Do you still feel super hungry? I'd say for like the first like year, so like a year after surgery, hunger was like spotty for me. Like sometimes I'd feel super hungry and sometimes I wouldn't. And now I feel like I get hungry pretty consistently, like at the same times and like in the same hours, if that makes sense. And when I'm hungry, I feel super duper hungry. But any bariatric patient will tell you that some days you feel like you can eat every single thing that is put in front of you, and other days you can barely choke back water. It's very weird. But you still, even on the days where you feel like you can't eat, you still have to eat. And so that's when you kind of have to force yourself to eat. But yeah, so I definitely get hungry, and it's pretty regular. But I would say for the first year, my hunger was pretty spotty. My hunger cues were pretty spotty. Was it a hard process to get approved for the surgery? It wasn't, I wouldn't say it was hard. It was just long, and you have to be dedicated. If you are dedicated, it will not seem hard. It was 6 months for me to get approved and for me to get everything done that I needed to. Again, I outline all of that in my VSG video, so I'll go check that out. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was hard, it was just long, and I really had to set my mind to it, which I already had, so like, that was already done to even just going into the program. Meeting protein requirements harder. In the beginning, yes. And for a while after, absolutely. But now I can get my protein really easily. One of my biggest recommendations is protein shakes. My favorite is Premier Protein, because it is made with milk protein, so it tastes like milk. Their chocolate one literally tastes like chocolate milk and is amazing mixed with coffee. And that's how I get like a third of my protein, is through one of those in the morning. How long did it take for the swelling to go away? Swelling went away, like, I think I was fully de-swelled when I went back to classes, so like after 2 weeks. But the major swelling went down after like 4 days, because like I said, that was like the gas pains and like the swelling and the bloating from surgery. So yeah, I would say I was fully like not swollen like for like after 2 weeks. But like the major stuff went away after 3 days. Sometimes you just need to eat a quesadilla that has potatoes in it, you know? Sometimes you just really need that in your life. And yes, I eat and drink at the same time. Sue me. I always have. It was not something I could ever kick. I have to eat and drink at the same time. Also, yes, I drink out of straws. I'm just a rebel bariatric person, aren't I? I have finished my quesadilla, and I have finished the questions. So that means I'm finished with this video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. Truly, filming videos this week has kept me sane and kept me from watching the news every 5 minutes. And so I'm just really thankful to have all of you here to talk to, even though I'm not really talking to you yet, but I will be. You understand what I'm saying. Just thank you for being here, and thank you for giving me something to do. I was talking to my company CEO today about this platform that I've built and stuff, and she thought it was really awesome. Like, I know it's so cool. Like, I have all these friends, and I feel like I'm helping people, and they're helping me, and like, it's just, we got a good thing going here, you know? And I just really appreciate you all being here more and more and more each week. And yeah, I know that was sappy, but it's just how it be sometimes, you know? Oh my god. Another thing about being a bariatric person, you burp a lot. So yeah, that's just another thing. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight and eating food with me and listening to me answer questions. If you want more of me for whatever reason, all of my links will be down below, and including the links to my Discord and my Patreon. My Discord is an amazing place. Patreon people get amazing perks. We have a Zoom call coming up in a couple weeks, and we just chat for like an hour, and it's really fun. And certain tiers get special cards and stickers, and like, it's just a good time over in Patreon, but it's also a really good time in the Discord too. Everybody's super kind and helpful, and you're bound to make at least one friend, if not anyone else. Me. Yeah, and also the links to my Etsy store, which is also my merch store, will be down there. I'm actually wearing merch again today. I love that this is my own merch. This is so cool and so weird all at the same time. And yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much. Stay sane during this crazy election week, whatever it's going to end up being. And be kind to yourself and be kind to other people. And I love you. Okay, bye.